Hey everyone, welcome back to 22 Panels. This is the podcast that aims to examine, explore, and elevate the medium of comics. I am Tyler, and across the interwebs from me is Tad. Hey Tad,
Hey Tyler, how's it going?
good. I'm a little annoyed that I haven't figured out what's going on with my recording equipment yet. It's just
Have
not,
have you unplugged it and plugged it back
yeah,
in?
yeah, it's unplugged right now. It's driving me
Okay.
nuts.
Okay. Have you disconnected the cord and reconnected the cord?
Yeah, which one?
The power cord.
The
I mean, all
power
of the
one.
cords, really.
Yeah. Yep, I have.
Have you hit it with a baseball bat yet?
Not yet. Side of my hand, yes.
Okay.
Um, uh, not a bat yet. No, basically what it's doing is it turns on and then the record actual function does not start when I hit the record button.
Did you make certain that it has a memory card in it and that
Yeah.
memory card has space
Yeah, that was my
and it
problem.
and is formatted properly?
Yep. I've
Okay.
done I've done all the things and it's
Well,
just being a bitch.
I mean, be nice to female dogs. Why don't we say it's being a Trump
It's being a Trump. God, such a Trump
or an
piece of
Elon?
shit.
It's being an Elon. Fucking Elon.
Snooping through all my shit,
Right.
Elon.
So we'll start off with the good news.
Yeah.
Both Mad Cave and Oni have
Hmm.
hired new people.
That
Last
is
week we
good.
were talking about layoffs. Mad
Uh-huh.
Cave and Oni are not laying people off; they are adding people. So rumors of the demise of the comic book industry may have been premature,
Hmm.
as we knew very well.
We
Um,
hope.
in the mixed news,
Yep.
uh, Diamond is going to auction March 24th. You can buy yourself parts of Diamond, the comics distribution arm, the book distribution arm, the game distribution arm, the toy distribution arm. All of these things are for sale separately. So, like, if there's one part of Diamond that you really like and you've got like the hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars necessary to purchase it, March 24th is your day in New York. Um, in related news, we have the first casualty of Diamond, Blood Moon
Uh-huh.
Comics, who, I mean, I don't really know. They specialize in kind of horror stuff that's not my jam, and they're smaller press. And on one side, lose a smaller press, and that you don't worry too much.
Right.
But small presses are important, and small presses sometimes become bigger presses, and sometimes small presses just do really cool work. And the less publishers you have, the less opportunities there are for creators to get their work out. So it's never good. But hopefully we're looking at, people that just aren't managed well enough to, it's not a big trend, etc. I'm trying to remain hopeful so far. Um,
Hmm.
and in the relatively hopeful side, Udon Press, which does a lot of manga and some web comic printing,
Hmm.
is headed to Lunar. So they have found a new distribution home. And now to everybody's favorite part of the podcast, where
Hmm.
we kind of take a glance at the week that was. And no, there's nothing good in this week. I mean, I guess as it turns out, there were at least six so far. I don't know that the charges against Eric Adams have actually been withdrawn yet, so there may still be more. Um, but at least six members of the Justice Department, headed up by uh, the head of the Southern District of New York, um, which I forget her name right now. I think something Sassoon, Federalist Society member appointed by Trump. Absolutely conservative bona fides, like out the wazoo.
Yep.
nobody's calling her a liberal. Not only refused to drop charges against Mayor Eric Adams of New York, but
Hmm.
wrote an 8-page scathing letter about how even asking her to was wildly inappropriate and against the remit of the Justice Department.
Hmm.
So they moved jurisdiction of the case to um I forget which bureau. I should have pulled up the stuff, but they moved it to one of the Washington bureaus that essentially handles fraud and stuff, and the head and all 5 of his deputies resigned. One of them from a hospital bed where she'd just given birth.
Yeah.
Said, uh,
No.
no, we have strong evidence that he did criming, and the only reason you're saying to to not prosecute is because he said he'd do political stuff for you, and that's not how it's supposed to work.
Right.
You don't get to say don't 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 prosecute my criming because I'll say nice things about you on TV. Um, just to make things more interesting, the Eric Adams was on Fox News with
Hmm.
uh, uh, I think the head of ICE, um,
Yeah, it was.
and was essentially threatened on air. See, he's on the couch here with me, so he can't back out now. Besides, those charges weren't weren't being dismissed with prejudice.
Right.
Um, so yeah. This all while Elon and his Doge boys continue to just take sledgehammers to government. I'm going to remind everybody that they should be reading Heather Cox Richardson's um, what's her Substack called? Letters from an American. Heather Cox Richardson is a renowned historian who, at least for the last 4 years, and I'm not certain exactly how long, but she's been doing a near daily Substack um, where her purpose is to record what's going on right now for essentially the grad student researching this era 50 years from now, while
Yep.
also providing historical context for her readers now and for that grad student. Um, but from last night's uh, message, there was one paragraph that really stuck out to me, so I just wanted to read it because this is how brilliant. I mean, because like on the right, they're still cheering all of this stuff.
Hmm. Exactly.
They're like, "Oh, you're going to court to stop it. What are you trying to hide?" And it's like, no. Among other things, let me just explain something, particularly to the right wing political cartoonists who are using that argument. I mean, I'll give you that at least your right wing political cartoons that have been using that argument are coherent, which is not actually that common for right wing political cartoons. Most of the time, I have to read the explanation of what they're trying to say before I have any idea what they're trying to say. But there have been a few
Yeah,
where
you got to really dig into it.
right.
Agreed. Yep.
Um, but like going to court isn't
Hmm.
how you hide fraud. If you're going to court to prevent them access and whatnot, you will have to provide evidence. Evidence of fraud could be brought. Things can be again. There's a reason why Donald Trump spent 4 years doing everything he could to stay out of court.
Hmm.
Things can be subpoenaed. Things become public.
Yep.
This is not how you hide fraud. This is how you try to protect a government from completely breaking down. And that's my lead into this wonderful, wonderful paragraph. It certainly appears that those in charge of the firings didn't know what they were doing. On Thursday, they fired more than 300 workers at the National Nuclear Security Administration, apparently not aware that they were the people who oversee the nation's nuclear weapons. Today, Peter Alexander and Alexander Marquez of NBC News reported that officials are now trying to rehire them, but can't figure out how to reach them because the workers lost access to their work email when they were fired.
I heard this. This is so stupid.
It's also so dangerous.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. They're fired their own people, and
I mean, what they're doing is patently illegal to begin with. Congress
right.
is like, and they have Congress. So like, if they thought it was something that they should be doing, if people truly wanted this, if it was defensible,
Right.
Congress could pass the laws. They could do this stuff legally.
Hmm.
They're choosing to do it illegally because then if it doesn't work, Congress hasn't put anything on the line other than their spinelessness.
Right.
Just, yeah, ridiculous. Ridiculous and more ridiculous. So let's get through the rest of our new to order stuff
Sure.
for the February catalogs, starting with Godzilla versus Los Angeles. Is the City of Angels
Yep.
ready for a Godzilla? Fresh off Godzilla's destructive stop in Chicago, the King of Monsters is headed for Hollywood. Join a superstar team of Los Angeles-based comics creators for 4 incredible stories, all set in the filmmaking capital of the world. Stories from Gabriel Hardman, Jay Gonzo, Dave Baker, our buddy from Mary Tyler Moore, and more. In stores on April 30th from IDW.
Nice. More Godzilla on the line here.
Yeah. Well, this one we're only going to read from Godzilla versus Fantastic Four, but
There's a lot. Godzilla
they
versus
have 6 planned. They
yeah,
Godzilla versus Fantastic Four, Godzilla versus the Hulk, X-Men, Spider-Man, Thor, and one that hasn't even been announced yet.
but all right. So the battle of the century starts here with the start of 6 sensational action-packed issues with Marvel heroes battling the king of the monsters from its many different eras. How will Godzilla's lore mix with the might Marvel universe? I think the mighty Marvel
I think it
universe.
should be Mighty. Yeah.
Yeah.
They need
Find out
better
as
Betty copy editors.
they need better copier. Find out as history is twisted when icons like the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Hulk, X-Men, and Thor go face off against one of the greatest monsters of all time.
And then for that one, the Fantastic Four is Ryan North and John Romita Jr. on March 19th. Hulk is Jerry Duggan and Giuseppe Camuncoli on April 16th. Spider-Man, Joe Kelly and Nick Bradshaw on April 30th. X-Men, Fabian Nicieza and Emilio Laiso on May 14th. And the other 2 are still to be announced, so we'll probably drop a line about them sometime next week, maybe, or next month, maybe, if we feel like it.
Maybe.
All right. All right. Heavy Metal Magazine is returning heavier than ever. Relaunch brings the world's greatest illustrated magazine back to the forefront of comics, and with a lot of mostly overseas talent, but some local talent as well. The Heavy Metal Book Club will be all over this. I think we all kickstarted it. So yeah, Heavy Metal Magazine back to the fore. Metal Hurlant's coming back too. Actually, I think more excited about that. But having both is actually pretty awesome. So
I will start reading heavy metal. I've always wanted to get in on the ground
there
floor.
you go.
So
You can join the book club.
This is a good entry point, isn't it?
Yeah, you can join the book club.
Okay.
Was Mischief of Magpies mine or yours? I think it was mine. So Mar
Yes.
has a secret. Sometimes, without warning, he falls out of the world. This would be an inconvenience if his life wasn't already such a drag. When he's gone, he finds himself in an extraordinary city, a city which is also a machine, endlessly crossing a shoreless ocean. A city of two halves, the bright, bustling spires above the waves, and the haunted twilight halls below. And between clowning along the rusting beach, a troop of anarchic magpies will answer with all the answers, but none of the questions. Yeah, yeah. So, A Mischief of Magpies from Distillery and Simon Spurrier and Matthias Bergera in stores on April 16th.
Okay, cool. All right. Power Company Recharged #1 from Edwin Galman.
That's just
Spinning.
the cover art.
Oh, cover art. Yeah. Sorry. Ryan Edward Hill. If I could read.
Kari Randolph and
It,
Aletha Martinez.
it is early. Spinning
Yeah,
out of
yeah,
the
whatever.
events. Spinning out of the events of Black Lightning and DC Power, Rise of the Power Company, Josiah Power and Jefferson Pierce lead the newest iteration of the Power Company with a new purpose of rebuilding humanity's faith in heroes and fighting back against the rising anti-meta human movement.
Yep. In
In
stores on April
April
30th
30th.
from DC
Uh,
Comics.
Tad, I think we skipped one. I think
Which
we
one did we
skipped
skip?
Los Monstros.
Oh, I think we may have. I forgot to pull it up. Let me fix that.
Oh, okay.
I can fix it quick. That remember,
Cool.
I bookmarked them all at the beginning
Yeah.
of the month. So
Yeah.
here we go. You're gonna have to decide how to edit it down on the fly, or do you want me to try to do it on the fly? How about we go
Mm,
to here?
yeah.
Here we go.
Sounds good. The time is the 1950s, and the place is a very unique American city. Los Monstros is entirely populated with classic monsters from movies and folklore, vampires, man monsters, werewolves, mummies, and other fantastic creatures. Peter Cutter, werewolf.
Harry Cutter.
Oh, God, I can't even read my bifocals. Perry Cutter, werewolf PI, has just foiled a Gilman kidnapping when another case falls into his lap. All right, guys, this one will be in shops on, oh, good Lord, where is the
May
date?
28th.
May 28th. There
From
it
Dark
is.
Horse Comics,
From
James
Dark
Robinson
Horse.
and Jesus Marino.
Yeah.
All right, some graphic novels.
All right. What do we got here? The Flip Side from Jason Walls from Rocky Pond Books. This breathtaking page-turning graphic novel is a supernatural survival story in which a grieving teen finds himself in a haunted alternate reality, the frightening embodiment of his depression. Theo's best friend has died and he can't pull himself out of his sadness, a sadness that those around him don't seem to respect or even notice. And then something even more disconcerting happens. His own town literally flips upside down and everyone disappears.
And that's in stores on April 22nd.
Cool, cool, cool.
Godzilla Skate or Die from Louis Joyce. Australian skater punks versus Varan and the King of Monsters in this thrilling Godzilla tale. 4 years ago, four best friends and diehard skaters found the perfect location for a DIY skate park. After months of hard work, they created the world's sickest spot that they could enjoy for the rest of their lives. That is until the ferocious Varan appeared in the middle of Central Australia and started making a beeline for their beloved skate park. This is from Louis Joyce and IDW Publishing in stores on April 29th.
Cool.
Mhm.
John Muir, The Heart of Solitude, from Loming.
Low
What
Mig.
Lomig.
Mhm.
So, what pushed John Muir to become the pioneering environmentalist and founder of the Sierra Club? 1867, a sawmill is running at full speed with a terrible noise when suddenly workers run to rescue a man on the ground. He has seriously injured his eyes. John Muir is 29 years old and has to be confined in a dark room. It is likely that he may remain blind. But miraculously, after months of an almost mystical convalescence, he regains his sight. This episode convinces him he's going to leave everything behind and embrace his lifelong dream. Head south to meet the wilderness. This will be in stores April 16th from
from MBM.
NBM. Yeah.
Night Eaters, Book 3 from Marjorie Liu and Sana Takita. We're going to get into them soon when we do Monstrous. Their Kingdom Come is the epic conclusion to the Eisner-winning graphic novel horror trilogy, The Night Eaters. What happens when you and your twin accidentally trigger the apocalypse while trying to defend your family from an evil warlock? Well, Millie and Billy are about to find out. In shops April 16th.
All right. Well, this one's yours too.
Is it?
Yep.
Remember Us to Life, a graphic memoir by Joanna Rubin Dranger, winner of the Nordic Council Literature Prize, available for the first time in English. A moving and masterful graphic memoir exploring one woman's search for identity as she slowly uncovers the truth of how her Jewish relatives disappeared during World War II. Told through a genre-defying blend of illustrations, photography, and found objects, Remember Us to Life chronicles Joanna Rubin Dranger's investigation into her Jewish family's history spanning time, space, and 3 continents in search of her lost relatives. From Clarkson Potter and 10-Speed Graphic, in stores on April 8th. Some collections.
Batman Beyond the White Knight from Sean Murphy. Gotham Motors CEO Derek Powers has seized control of the Wayne family's assets and is using them to transform the GTO and the city they've sworn to protect. Crime is down, but at what cost? This is going to be in shops, you guys, on June 3rd.
Jenny Sparks. What could 5 strangers have to do with the fate of the world? Find out as Captain Atom goes rogue, threatening to destroy the planet he once swore to protect. Can any hero stop him? May take the most unconventional of them all, Jenny Sparks, the one woman tasked with keeping all the heroes in line, no matter what the cost. In stores, May 27th from Tom King, Jeff Spokes, and DC Comics. A Rocketeer breaks free from Stephen Mooney and Staz Johnson. Trouble catches up with Cliff and his friends in San Francisco in this pulp-tinged miniseries, continuing the legacy of the Rocketeer. Rocketeer storms the city by the bay. With Betty about to start work on a new film, Cliff and Peavy join the aspiring starlet on a trip to San Francisco, where they liaise with a fellow pilot and friend and government operative, Debbie Seville. As always, trouble seems to follow Cliff, who gets caught up in a cable car accident. But at least there'll be smooth sailing after that, right? If the Rocketeer's luck stays true to form. In stores on April 29th from IDW.
All right. Survival Street Volume 2, The Radical Left from James Asmussen, Jim Vestante, and Abele Kusinov. From Dark Horse, Survival Street is an unrepentant action satire tearing through a dystopia packed with economic and humanistic cautionary tales. The political satire action adventure hit series returns. After America is sold off to private companies, this ABC team of ex-entertainers rescues kids from cruel company towns. But Portland can't hold everyone, and the cracks are about to break. This is going to be in shops on June 10th.
Yep. This was so good.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Love the artwork for it.
Is this you or me?
You. Yep.
Me. Okay.
Yep.
White. It's been 3 years since the world learned only black people have superhuman abilities, and the United States has responded by electing Theodore Mann to the presidency, a really, really white dude who doesn't like
Mhm.
black people. I've read this before. The only person standing in the way of his policies to control empowered blacks are Kareem Jenkins and his allies. So, wouldn't that be the only people rather than the only person? If
Right?
it's Kareem Jenkins and his allies. Okay, so they make really good comics, but they don't
They
necessarily write
the co- the copy
fantastic
is
copy
bad.
here.
Yeah.
In stores on April 23rd. Um, yeah, if you like, the original was Black, and then there was some spin-offs, Black AF. I've enjoyed the whole series.
I'm gonna have to check them out. This seems
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah, from Black Mask Comics, and then mostly same stuff on the final order cutoff. We've got Absolute Flash from Jeff Lemire and Nick Robles, March 19th.
Hmm.
One that I highly am looking forward to, so much so that I'm not even going to go through the various. It's a who's who in comics.
Okay.
LA Strong, a charity comic for the victims of the Los Angeles fires, is coming out
Cool.
from Mad Cave March
Hmm.
19th. Initial and final orders are this coming uh, February 24th. Forgot to change that in notes. So, um, and then Out of Alcatraz from Christopher Cantwell and Tyler Crook from Oni Press on March 19th. Crowdfunding is much the same as it's been recently. Always Punch Nazis Omnibus from Ben Ferrari on Kickstarter through February 19th. The Shift from Split Vision Press on Kickstarter through February 20th. Dark Pink from Christopher Freud and Coy Turnbull on Kickstarter through 223. I did notice that our guy Steve Urena has a new one up, and I forgot to put it in. So look for Steve Urena on Kickstarter. I think it's another zombie date night. We'll talk about it next month. Um, he was the one that remember the comic about the girl whose superpower was swearing.
Yeah. That was awful. Yes.
Right. Um, and then another guest of the podcast, Jenny Wood, has the 10th anniversary edition of her book A Boy Like Me on Soup right now. Born a girl,
Okay.
Peyton Honeycutt meets Tara Parks in the 8th grade bathroom shortly after he gets his first period. It's the best and worst day of his life. Determined to impress Tara, Peyton sets out to win her love by mastering the drums and basketball. He takes on Tara's small minded mother, the bully at school, and the prejudices within his conservative hometown. In the end, Peyton must accept and stand up for who he is or lose the woman he loves. So we will definitely want to check that out. We read Paper Planes earlier. We talked to Jenny Wood. Um, I might have to reach out to her again because that's a cool looking book.
It is, yeah.
Right.
Excuse me. I'm so tired this morning. I
And
don't know
and
what's happening.
we certainly loved Paper Planes.
Yeah, it was
So
awesome.
yeah, yeah. So Tyler,
Yeah.
what were your three amazing books this week?
Three amazing new books. There are so many books out. I got to tell you a funny story. So I thought that the devil book, right? That came out shoot, what's
Which
it
one?
called?
Lucky
Lucky
Devils
Lucky Devils. Okay.
or the Let This One Be a Devil.
It was Lucky Devils. I grabbed it off
Okay.
the shelf, got it
Ryan
home.
Brown and Charles Soule.
Yeah. And I got it home. And you know what I did? I picked up the second printing of number
Of
one
the first issue.
that was sitting. Yeah. So I got to go back to Rainbow today to get my Lucky Devils.
Number two.
Um,
It was very
yeah, so I
good.
haven't read it yet. Okay. All right.
It's very
So
good.
Lenore, I've been waiting for a return of Lenore for a long time. Lenore, the Time War by Roman Dirge is just a great return to the silliness and macabre life of Lenore, the cute little dead girl. Um,
I
Yeah,
haven't
it's
read
just
any Lenore. I'm gonna have to at some point.
it's
This is
cute.
one you got on me.
It's cute. You know what I mean? I find it charming. But yeah, Lenore, the cute little dead girl. And then Batman has a few different, and this is another one. You're gonna laugh at this. Absolute Batman also came out with a new one. You know what I did? Grab the
You
wrong
grabbed
printing.
the wrong printing of an earlier one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So I actually grabbed the right one of Batman Dark Patterns, but
Okay.
it could have been a double Batman day with so
Right. I mean, this is like, let's see, what I'm most curious about
uh-huh.
is is this a Tyler's completely not paying attention, or is this a Rainbow needs to arrange their new books better so that you understand this is the new book and these are new printings of old ones?
Both. So the
Okay.
way it's laid out is okay. So Absolute Batman, for example, the older reprinted one is to the left, and then the next one is to the right, and so on. And I instinctively just grabbed the furthest one to the left because I don't care about covers. I usually just want the A cover,
Gotcha.
right?
Gotcha.
So it is both. It is their placement, and I am just grabbing. And
Gotcha.
my wife laughed at me very hard because
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it,
I'm
I
I'm
did it.
laughing at you a little bit too.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
my third pick is American Nature Presents because Tad, you have a write up in it.
Two-page
A
spread, baby.
yes, and it's a great read. I did a little illustration of you complaining about the price of comics, so I think that was funny.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, check it out. American Nature Presents #2 from Greg and Fake from Floating
Yep.
World.
Yep. I'm already starting to think about not only my column for number three, but I'm starting to
Okay.
kick around ideas for my column for number four already. So,
Wow. Okay,
yep, yep,
cool.
yep.
It's
I'm
exciting.
enjoying that gig.
I
Very
bet.
much enjoying that gig.
It's just nice. I pulled it up when I picked it up off the shelf and I showed people our contributions to the comic. And
We've
it
got
was
an
pretty,
ad in there somewhere too, I think.
okay. I'll find it.
I know like Kelly sent an ad in for the next issue of Santo Sisters, and they wouldn't even let her pay them.
Really?
Apparently, I spent part of this week blocking out like shot sheet so I can get back to recording too. So with any luck,
Okay.
we'll manage to get at least the first five issues recorded by the time they are released as a hardcover.
Okay. Cool.
That's kind of my goal for myself. We got about a month and a half.
Okay.
So yeah. Um, my favorite
So
book this week was
yeah.
Cam Girl from
Hmm.
Sarah H. Cho and C.P. Smith. Um, it's a nice tight one shot thriller that also has a very human look at uh, a corner of the sex worker industry and how people wind up there, which is not to like, while also demystifying being there doesn't make you like a bad person or whatever. And some of
Right.
the repercussions of being there that are even or like equally dumb. Um, because in it, like, I don't want to ruin too much, but essentially, the backstory is that the main character wound up losing a job because of mental health issues and had
Right.
trouble getting back into her industry.
Hmm.
Um, Needed to pay rent, and that's how she wound up as a cam girl. But now, both the history of the mental health thing and the do a Google search and you find out she's a cam girl means that she has a huge amount of trouble finding work in the industry that she's good at.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's. it's another, and I don't even remember if it asked this question, but I know I asked this question, which is um, just from my experience, white men are given way more opportunities after they have any sort of mental health thing and or can blame mental health things for bad behavior to get new opportunities.
Right?
Um, and I'm also relatively certain that, like, I mean, I don't know how many male porn stars have tried to go into other industries, but I'm relatively
Right.
certain it wouldn't block them from it.
Probably not. No, you're
I
probably
mean,
right.
particularly straight male porn stars. I don't think that you'd like have trouble getting an executive job if they found out that you had done you'd been the male actor in straight porn. I think it'd be more likely that they go, "That's awesome, dude. What was it like?"
Probably if you're trying to get a job in Trump's
Um,
cabinet.
yeah, well, definitely there. I'm surprised Ron Jeremy didn't get a pardon and a cabinet position.
I know.
Maybe he's holding that for year two. But yeah, it was fantastic. Sarah Cho, of course, wrote Red Light as well.
Yep.
I love her work. Really enjoyed this book. Um, on my books that I hope would be spectacular, I did a twin Kyle Starks thing with Where Monsters Lie and Those Not Afraid. But Those Not Afraid, I think, distinguished itself enough that Where Monsters Lie is in my honorable mentions now.
Okay.
Fantastic. But
Yeah.
I'm giving Those Not Afraid #2 by Kyle Starks and Patrick Piazzalunga at Dark
Hmm.
Horse. Essentially, it's like two serial killers met each other and now they're in competition to become the most prolific serial killer in their given state.
Okay.
So it's a serial killer comedy with some romance mixed in, except that again, really weird romance because the people who are romantic aren't aware that their partner. I mean, there's a double date scene here between the one serial killer and his wife's friend, who's a like serial killer podcaster,
Yeah.
and the other serial killer who again only the serial killers know that they're serial killers.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just like a double date.
Definitely something I have to check out. I'm sure number one is still out there.
I'm
Uh,
certain it is too. Kyle Starks. I mean, it's Kyle Starks. Kyle
yeah,
Starks and Doug Wagner have a couple of the most twisted minds in the
they are
business.
so funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then Archaic #3 from Melissa F. Olson and Sally Cantorino is like a nice family story with a fantasy element and whatnot, and just continues to be really cool at Hawaii Comics.
yeah,
So I'm pulling way out ahead of you again, Tyler.
I know. I know. It was a slow week in the world of One Piece. I got caught up to where you were last week.
Okay.
Um,
See, I here's the thing, Tyler.
mhm.
I did all of my reading after we recorded last week, like right after we
I
recorded last week.
figured
I
because
haven't
you were,
read anything since Sunday,
yeah,
but I
because
couldn't put it down until I
no,
got through the battle.
I know. I'm in the midst of it, and
Yeah. Luffy just will not quit in this battle at why did I forget the name of it again?
Luffy versus I'm at Luffy versus
It's
Rob Lucci
is it
is where I'm at.
Ennis Lobby? Yeah,
Ennis Lobby. I'm looking.
something Lobby.
Grand Line Navy headquarters. I don't remember.
Yeah. I
But
don't I don't remember right now either, but like none of the rest of them quit either, which is equally impressive. But like,
yeah, they're different. They're all very much kind of smitten with Luffy's attitude and his,
right, right.
they're
It's
just
just
like,
a
well,
will
okay.
not say no.
Yep.
Yeah, you just beat the crap out of me, and I'm gonna stand up again anyway. Um, and it's just, I mean, it's like the Superman up in the sky. He'll win because he just won't allow himself not to.
Right. Uh
Um,
so
and it's fun, it's inspiring, and yeah.
that's a good word for it.
I
It is fun. It's when I want something that's gonna like alleviate,
yeah.
and
Oh.
provide a moment of brevity, and it just makes me chuckle, I'm like,
Yeah.
what is he
Mhm.
doing? Um,
Mhm.
uh, there's so many good characters in this, and the cast has just gotten huge.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, keeping track of characters and names is hard for me now, but
yes,
I don't care when I'm reading.
I want to get, and I don't know if there is one available, but a One Piece compendium would be nice.
Yeah. I
So that I
think they're
could just
putting it
look.
out in like they're putting it out in three oh, you mean do you mean a compendium or do you mean a like character guide encyclopedia type thing?
Yeah, that. Yep.
Okay. Because I was
Yep.
about to say they're putting it out in three volume sets where rather than like the 200 pages you get 600 pages at a time.
Oh wow.
Um,
No, I'm talking about more of a guide so that I can just
yeah, I
like,
bet you there is.
who is this?
There's definitely a wiki.
Yeah,
There's a
that's
One
true.
Piece wiki.
Yep,
Um,
that would be
and
helpful.
yeah,
I should look into that for sure.
yeah. But
Um,
it's fun and like I don't know when I'll get to it this week because I've got a lot of reading to do and because I managed to get to that. Oh, finally, this feels like an okay place to stop
right.
after nonstop action for like 600 pages.
I know it's like 40 chapters. Uh, it's
Uh,
been a lot, but it's pretty awesome. I'm
yeah.
getting into like when I go places like the the mall or something like that. There's One Piece um flags in this one store. And I'm like,
Okay.
I should get it's a skull and crossbones
With
with
the hat. Yeah.
Luffy's
Yeah.
hat.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I have a
It,
flagpole on the front of my house and
oh,
I would love to fly it.
fly it.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be fun. I'd have
That'd
to
be
take
good.
down my pride flag though.
Yeah.
Uh
Well, I mean, you
right,
could put it under your pride flag.
true. And right now I'm not willing to take down my pride flag because there's no one else around me that's willing to put one up anymore.
Yeah. Do you have just a regular pride flag, or do you have the
It's
trans pride flag?
it's the triangle. Okay, so it's got
So it's got the
the
trans triangle and
yep,
the
yep,
yeah. I
yep,
like that one. I
yep.
like that one a lot.
It's getting pretty tattered. I gotta replace it.
Did you see? I showed you the designs for the buttons Kelly made. I gotta
Yeah.
remember to put links up in our socials and stuff, whatnot, because she's selling them on Ko-fi for a
Oh,
buck a
perfect.
piece. 50 cents is for materials and whatnot, and 50 cents goes to gets
The
split between
next
the
batch. Oh,
ACLU and Trevor Project.
okay.
Um,
One of the things I wanted to talk about before we get on to our great responsibility is if somebody wanted to help out financially somewhere, would you recommend the ACLU as the place to go?
ACLU would definitely be one of my top places right now. We need
Yeah.
lawsuits.
Yeah.
Um, as frustrating as they are, the Democratic Party, or if you're not willing to go straight to the Democratic Party, um, pick out the political action committee that speaks most to you and or you trust the people at it the most. I give to
Yeah.
both Katie Porter's Truth to Power and David Hogg's Leaders We Deserve. You know,
Right.
Truth to Power is kind of trying to take her whiteboard into the PAC realm, and Leaders We Deserve specifically targets younger candidates to help out.
Oh, yeah, that's
Um,
kind of what we need right now.
uh, but then, I mean, there's some great gun control groups. There's Every Mom for Gun Safety. There's Giffords. There's um, March for Our Lives. ACLU. Uh, you know, there's a lot of value in giving to the places that aren't necessarily doing the political work, but are doing the work that's not being done. I mean, Trevor Project is more important than ever right now because, yeah, federal aid for trans people is all but non-existent right now. I
Yes.
mean, there are people inside the system working to make that not true, and there's a lawsuit that's technically put a stay on the order, that sort of thing. But like, they're a massive target, and the Trevor Project is like one of the biggest organizations devoted to mental health and assistance for trans and queer youth. Um, there are many others. I
Right.
mean, really, my biggest recommendation right now
Uh-huh.
is like give and do whatever you can, wherever you can. Um, Only trying not to get screwed because I'm
Yeah.
certain that there are some people out there that are going, "Oh, the lefts are going nuts right now. This is the
Yep.
perfect time to get them to
Exploit
buy
that. Yep.
stuff." I mean,
Yep.
I'm willing to bet that like 80% of the people who made and sold MAGA gear weren't MAGA.
Right.
They saw an opportunity. Um, so I mean that's my thing is like use common sense and do a little bit of research rather than just clicking the link that shows up in your feed.
Yep.
But other than that, anything and everything. Try, stay tuned in as much as you can handle for your mental health so that you can see when there are opportunities to do something. I know it's hard, which is why, like, don't do it if it destroys you, but like, figure out what level destroys you,
Hmm.
right? Rather than just going, oh, I can't handle any of it. Okay, the TV news drives you nuts, but other news, can you read Heather Cox Richardson? Can you read Jay Quo? Can you read Joyce Vance? Can you read Spencer Ackerman or Jonathan Katz? Can you read The Contrarian? Are there ways to control the information more in terms of how you take it in and at what speed while still allowing you to know what's going on, um because you never know when you're going to go, oh, wait a minute, I can do something about this, or
Right.
oh, there's a rally in my neighborhood, I can go show up, or oh, that seems like a great organization, I'm going to give my money there.
Right.
The worst thing that could possibly happen is that at some point we wake up and realize that we're a full-on dictatorship, and like half the people realizing it didn't even really realize it was coming.
I know. And that's what's happening.
um so yeah, talk to your friends, have the uncomfortable conversations, don't necessarily do it in a way that's shaming or likely to end the friendship, but like push back against the idea that all things that are tangentially related to politics shouldn't be discussed.
Right.
Because really, why is healthcare politics?
Yeah. I agree.
Why is being nice to people politics? you know?
Yeah, I agree.
So those are my thoughts.
Okay.
But yeah,
Well, we
ACLU is definitely a big one.
okay.
Just because they're on the ground. Public citizens doing a lot of lawsuits too. Um, and the lawsuits are necessary, even as I fear that the administration um, isn't following the decisions of them. It creates a record.
Hmm.
Creating a record I mean, I hate to say it, but we're at the point where like half of what we can do is create a record.
Yeah.
We're past the point where there are easy things to do. We don't have Congress.
Hmm. Exactly.
We don't have the courts. We
Nope.
don't have the White House. So, I mean, yeah, that's my
Oh,
thoughts. But let's talk concrete. Concrete's more interesting right now.
it's more fun. That's for sure. So,
Yes. We got two very different stories here.
yeah,
Both of them really cool. Um, the
you
the
know,
the the first one was essentially the how to make a movie and use concrete as your um heavy lifting.
mhm. He gets thrown in that role a lot, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like we could just get concrete to do it, and then then they're all set. Um, one of the
And then
things
the
that,
second one was kind of the in the introduction, Paul Chadwick wrote about wanting to do kind of a Die Hard type thing.
uh-huh,
Um, and it was essentially like Larry gets kidnapped as part of a gas station robbery,
yeah,
and most of it is Larry trying to figure out how to get free, and Concrete trying to figure out where the hell Larry is. First, because he's upset that Larry wasn't there to pick him up, but eventually picking up on, oh, wait a minute, there's
something's
something
wrong.
wrong.
Yes, exactly. Like
Um,
one
and
of
in
the
both,
things that I go ahead.
I was saying in both stories, it's kind of cool that he took like something else, the making of a movie,
Yep.
uh, 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 or robbery and thrilling thing, and went, okay, I've created this weird character that's not human but not really a superhero.
Hmm.
So what? How could you inject him into this story?
Hmm.
The previous stories have been more about I've got this weird character that's not human but not really a superhero. How would he decide to live his life? But these two are more how would he react to opportunities given to him
Right.
or friends in need?
Yep.
What
Have
would
you?
be his limitations? What would be his strengths? That sort of
Yeah.
thing, and it's cool.
Hmm. Have
Chad,
you noticed that at the beginning of each story, or each volume, the way that they put in a tiny little concrete that's holding the sign for the title? So
well,
let's say volume four, for example, the gas station scene. Um, in front of the pumps, there's a tiny concrete standing there with the one that says "Killer Smile Part One."
let me see.
It's kind of fun. They did it in the previous volumes too, but they're just kind of little. This one's kind of pretty noticeable, but
Oh, I guess yeah. I mean, I guess I only kind of noticed that concrete was part of the logo, but I did notice that there was kind of a design to the way they did each chapter page.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool. I'm really
Um,
enjoying it.
yeah, I mean, Chadwick is showing both a really versatile ability to tell stories, different types of
Uh-huh.
stories, and this twist of putting this incredibly odd character into the middle of them. Um,
Right. at first I was like, what kind of a story are we going to tell here? Because this has
Yeah.
been like we talked about last week, but like this has kind of been done before with the thing. Um, and
Though
not
not entirely,
completely.
because again, the
No.
thing was always more of a superhero.
Yep.
And like Chadwick from the beginning is like, but why is the thing a superhero?
Yes.
That only
Yep.
kind of makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. And this guy's like, what
Big
do I
and
do with my
strong, but why does that automatically make him like not
better?
clumsy or
Exactly.
agile or
I mean, he's just a lumbering piece of rock.
right. Right.
Um, it's interesting. I love the art style. I love it that there's
Yeah,
not a
no,
lot of like
he's a
shading. I mean, it's like just pure black and white.
really, really good at using shadows,
Yeah.
really good at panel design, breaking panels. I like his use of thought bubbles,
Hmm.
which we don't see enough anymore.
No, a lot of times like uh they're trying to be more creative with their exposition lately, right? Not using just thought bubbles.
Right.
And like Jonathan
But
Hickman really likes doing those long data pages.
I mean, I love that too, but what I don't like is that like as so often is the case, it's like, oh, thought bubble's not the best way to do this. So we're not doing thought bubbles anymore. Rather than thought bubbles not always the best way to do this. So let me think about when the thought bubble makes sense versus when it doesn't make sense. Like the ones
Right.
I'm looking at right now are your um the two criminals are having their
Right.
conversation
Yep.
and Larry is thinking. It wouldn't
Hmm.
work as well as exposition, particularly because there is exposition that's not entirely thought bubbles or not entirely thoughts. Um, and he's clearly not going to say this stuff out loud, but it's not and you can see some of it, but they're not really thought bubbles that are replacing the art. I mean, most of the slams on thought bubbles are they're being used in a place where you could use a narrator,
Hmm.
um, or the art should show what they're putting out.
Yep.
But like I'm looking at the panel on page 33 where she says that was awful. He
I'm
says,
going to it right
"Sorry,
now.
darling, but you know I love to watch them squirm." And Larry's like, "I'd better rethink this. He is a psycho."
Right.
As he's hunched over. So like the hunched over does show that, oh God, I'm like not at all confident, but um he had been making an out loud argument to the guy previously that you're not a psycho, and the guy's like, how do you know I'm not a psycho? um so and for that matter, again, I mean, the whole time I turned back to 31, and Larry's driving, and he just been thinking about, um, or he just said, "Hey, put me in a storage locker with food and water, and then you can
Yep.
call when." And then he's like, "Oh, wait a minute, the Exxon executive in New Jersey died that way. Bad idea."
Nope. Don't do that.
So it's like he's showing that he's just clutching at straws and maybe even stuff that he read in the news, but like after it came out of his mouth, he went, "Oh, wait a minute, but the story ended badly."
Hmm.
And there's no good way to show that except a thought bubble,
Right.
you know?
I agree.
Um,
I think they should be interspersed with the other things,
right. So I'm
as
I'm like
where it's appropriate.
I'm really impressed with Chadwick's storytelling.
Uh-huh.
Whether it's cop car in the rearview mirror, um, close ups on the eyes, He's just lots of different angles that manage to show you a really rich environment.
For sure. Like I'm just really impressed with the clarity of the characters. A lot of
Mhm.
times with this kind of um, artwork, it's easy to make all the women look the same and all the men have,
Right.
you know what I mean? And
Right.
so this is great. Is there's definite characteristics for each person that you don't have to guess who it is.
Right.
So
But yeah, no, I continue to really enjoy um the reads. I'm looking we're gonna try to shoot the moon for next week and do three of them.
mhm.
Which makes me really happy that I hit that good stopping point in One Piece.
So maybe you could take a break on One Piece. I could catch up a little.
I mean,
And
that might happen. I'm not promising anything, but that could
okay,
happen. It is a race, dude.
I
I
know.
wouldn't, it
I
would be
hate to
pretty funny
ask.
if I wound up lapping you.
I
Like I finish and
know.
you haven't gotten to chapter 1000 yet.
That would be funny.
But I
Uh,
do have a lot to read for book clubs this week.
yeah,
I still have a volume and a half of uh, Tom King and Tim Seeley's Grayson to read for tonight. I have Four Kids Walk into a Bank to read for tomorrow. I have Black Sad to read for next Sunday. So like, there's reason to believe that I won't get to a lot of One Piece, particularly with three volumes of Concrete to read. Um,
totally understandable. We'll see how it goes.
yeah.
We may both get to Thursday or Friday and be like, "Where are you in or in Concrete? Are you
That
even close to the third
that is
volume?"
also possible.
Yeah,
That is also possible.
yeah,
Though honestly, I mean, I have to finish. Um, I have to finish the Grayson first,
yeah,
and then revisit Four Kids Walk into a Bank. But after that, I'm going to be working Concrete because Concrete initially came out of Brit's cabinet. You know, at least one volume of Concrete will be our next read for Brit's cabinet.
yeah.
And right now it's tentatively volume 6,
Mm.
but because that's what he has physically in his cabinet and therefore what kicked this off. But one of the reasons I wanted to read all of this stuff was to decide if there was a volume that I thought would be a better one for our discussion. So,
Oh,
you
for Brit's
know,
cabinet. Yeah,
right, right.
makes sense.
So, yeah,
Cool.
that's
That's it.
that's why I could wind up reading all of the Concrete today.
Good Lord. It could happen, I suppose.
Um,
That would be a lot.
because
Oh,
I've read everything that I need to read for Duane Moore at 2 already.
hmm.
Um, so you know it's possible. And
Yeah.
tomorrow's President's Day, so I have the day off. Now I am going
Yep.
down in the city to go to Challengers and see Johnny, but that doesn't mean that I won't manage to do my share of reading as well.
Yeah. That's cool.
So
I
yeah.
will be helping with my wife's daycare. So I usually
You and the need to
work,
make
work, work.
money. I got my sugar mama. She's an art teacher.
Yep.
Oh, wait, you're an art teacher too. How come you're not the sugar daddy? You're an art teacher.
It's tough, man. It's tough. You know, I mean, her and I both have part-time jobs. I tutor a kid. It's just crazy.
Right.
Uh, anyway, suppose we should move on to three books will
Yeah.
be spectacular. What do you think?
Uh, I got, I had, well, four that stood out.
Yeah.
Um, though there were a bunch of other good ones because we got more question all along the Watchtower next week. We got more Patchwork
Hmm.
Girl of Oz next week. We got more Milestone Universe Shadow Cabinet next week. Godzilla Heist starts next week. Howl #2 next week. Holy Roller #9. So the end of Holy Roller is next week. Eve Uning's Exceptional X-Men is next week.
Hmm.
Batman and Robin Year One next week. Both Daredevil and Daredevil Unleash Hell are next week. X Factor is next week. There's
Hmm.
there's a lot of good shit next week, which is why it's also funny that we both have we have crossover in our lists
I didn't
because
even look at yours, and then I
yeah,
just did. I'm like, oh
yeah,
man.
yeah. So my top book is Spectrum #3 from Rick Quinn and Dave Chisholm at Mad Cave. It's
Yeah.
music, it's mental health. It's Dave Chisholm. I'm loving it, loving it, loving it.
Yeah.
My second book, and the one that will reappear on your book, is I just can't wait to see where Chris Condon and Alessandro Cappuccio are taking Ultimate Wolverine. And the second issue comes out on Wednesday, and then the Tom King double feature of the concluding issue of Jenny Sparks, #7,
Yeah.
and #19 of his absolutely amazing Wonder Woman run. So Tom King and Jeff Spokes on Jenny Sparks, and Tom King and Daniel Sampere on Wonder Woman.
Your number three is actually a 3 and 4. Okay. Yeah, Ultimate Wolverine ended on such a great place on issue number 1 that I've been waiting patiently for issue number 2 from Chris Condon and Alessandro Cappuccio. I better put for Marvel down here. And then Epitaph from the Abyss, #8 from Stephanie Phillips, Brendan Hay, Joshua Hale Falkov, Valerie
Yeah,
Burzo, PJ Holden, John McCrae, and Andrea Sorrentino from
that's a
EC Only.
fantastic group of talent.
Yeah,
So I'm
for
looking
sure.
forward to that one too.
Andrea Sorrentino is one of my favorite artists. He's so good. And then Let This One Be a Devil, #1 from James Tiny and the Fourth and Steve Fox and Peter Kowalski. Very much looking forward to those books. All right.
Yep. Another good week because comics are far from dead.
Right. That is
So
good
many good
news, that you were
comics.
saying at Oni Press and who else was hiring?
Mad Cave.
Mad Cave. That's great.
Yeah, Mad Cave continues to rock the world. And I'm
Yep.
in favor of that because they've been doing some seriously good shit.
Mm,
Um,
yes.
so yeah.
Awesome. Well, I got to get going. I'm going to go with my
Yeah.
wife to church. So,
Yeah.
uh,
And that's another week in the books. And hey, we got out at like a little more than an hour this time.
yeah,
So I think definitely the truncated um
reading helps. Yeah.
reading will continue.
Hmm. Yeah, that's cool.
Um, and then the other thing, I'm going to toss it out there. Maybe you're still recording the whole list to drop in, right?
Yeah.
So maybe starting next month, what do you say we pick any given week, we each do 2 series, 2 graphic novels, and 1 collection.
Okay.
And the other, the things we don't get to in the month, they're in the list. So they get listed every week. They just don't get
Yeah.
the deeper description.
Okay. That'll work.
Does that sound good?
Perfect. Yeah.
Because that's just, I feel like we need to tighten things up just a little bit.
Okay. I'm with you.
If for no other reason than so we don't always have to be rushing our great responsibility discussion.
Yeah. I
So,
hear you. We
so
could
yeah,
also rearrange so the
we
great
could,
responsibility is sooner.
we could.
Um,
I'll think about that.
okay.
I kind of like the overall flow, except for how long we're taking highlighting books. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think overall I prefer to tighten that than to rearrange because it just makes sense. It's like we start off with news and then we move into here's the stuff that's coming in a while, and then
Yep.
stuff that's coming in less of a while because it's final order cutoff or crowdfunding, and then this is the stuff we loved last week. I mean, I guess because it's later, I mean, we could actually move it to the end of the episode
True.
after after the books we hope will be spectacular. Okay,
We
we'll think
could.
on that too.
Okay.
Those are the things to think on for starting with the next month's worth of comics. Is both how do we want to shorten it, and does it make more sense after books we hope will be spectacular?
Right. All right, guys.
All
Thanks for
right. And
listening.
any listeners out there that want to weigh in, 22 panels podcast at gmail.com. Feel free to let us know what you're thinking, what you want, whether you want to join a book club or whether you think that we just suck. I mean, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you guys after the next page. Later.
Hey guys, this is Tyler from 22 Panels. I'm here to tell you all about our Patreon. If you enjoy this show, please consider donating to our Patreon to keep this show going. We have many different tiers, all different levels to help you decide what's right for you. Okay, so get on out there to patreon.com/22 Panels Podcast.